Welcome to Powering Success, future-proofing your generator company, the go-to podcast for industry leaders in the generator installation and service business. Here we dive into the strategies and innovations that keep your company ahead of the competition and bring you insights from top experts and successful entrepreneurs. Let's get started and power up your potential. Now here's your host, marketing guru John Tedesco.
Okay, welcome back to Powering Success, the podcast for generator business owners who want to grow smarter, scale better, and build something that lasts. Today, we're joined by Michael Bright from Safe Haven Power in Houston, Texas, a fast-growing, family-owned Generac dealer serving some of the most challenging install environments in the country right now, and right inside the 610 loop. Terry, Michael, and Shane started Safe Haven just a few years ago after leaving construction in oil and gas, and what they've built in that short a time is impressive, with high-end residential installs, a referral-driven sales engine, and a true turnkey mindset that's winning in every competitive market. We're going to dig into how they sell, how they price, how they handle tight space installs, and what it really takes to scale a generator business the right way. So welcome, Michael. Thanks for coming to my show.
Thanks for having me, John. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. So introduce yourself, explain your role inside Safe Haven Power, and, let's get into the history a little bit.
Okay, my name is Michael Bright. I'm the operations guy. I handle the operations side of the business, and I'm also one of the partners. And my role really is from the install, from the beginning to the end, I see it all. So.
Okay, and before generators, you were in construction, renovation, oil and gas.
Yes, my wife was in oil and gas. I was in construction most of my life. I was in hospitality. I was in residential property management. So a lot of customer service, background with it. And of course, our son Shane is more on the sales side of things. He's a great sales guy, and so that's his background, sales. So we bring a lot of synergy to the company.
Okay, and when you looked at the generator business, what did you think it would be like, and what surprised you most once you started?
Honestly, we looked at a lot of different businesses and we saw the demand for power there because we had a generator in our home, and when power went out, we had it, our neighbors were all dark, and we thought, wouldn't it be great to have people that can get a generator when there's power outages or storms, because Houston has a lot of weather events taking place. So it looked really hard and strong into it. And surprisingly, it was a lot more than what we anticipated, but in a good way. There was a lot to learn. So I'll go into more of that as we go on. So that's kind of what got us into the business, knowing that there's a demand for it, and the power grid really is weak right now. There's a lot of outages in a lot of parts of the city, and we wanted to be that backup power for homes that need it the most.
And what was that conversation like, with your family? Like, let's stop doing what we're doing and let's do generators. Like, what was this experience? Explain that.
Well, I think, we all three bring different strengths to the company, and we looked at several businesses, and really the generator business stood out the most to us because we looked at Generac and for their brand and how they treat the dealers, and it was a great company. And so we looked into that, and that's kind of what pushed us into getting into the generator business, because knowing that, hey, you've got a good company behind it that can support you and train you and teach you. So we had all the tools basically to start this business.
Okay. All right. So, Houston has hurricanes, freezes, wind events. How do those shape demand for you?
Well, it's all weather related, and we've seen peaks and valleys, and typically people are not proactive; they're more reactive when they see a storm and they've been through power outage. Then they decide to get a generator. So, but people are catching on now. They know that, hey, we know that they're going to lose power again, and if they lost power for a few days, I promise you they're going to want a generator. They won't be in the same situation again. So
yeah, sure. And how educated are people at this time when they finally reach out to you?
Well, most of the times, people just think it's a plug and play kind of a thing. You can just get a generator and, just plug it in. It's going to work. It's not that simple. We go over a lot of steps with them. There's a lot more involved with a generator. It's like
Hmm.
construction. A generator is really isn't just equipment. It's more of a construction project where there's electrical, there's gas, there's permits, there's inspections, there's the long-term service that's all tied together. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we show clients that what's involved, and then they are shocked to see how much goes into an actual install.
Okay. And you do all that in person, right? There's none of that is done on the phone.
Correct. Correct. We
Okay.
typically go out on a job site, assess, and Shane does that. He'll go out to the job site, take pictures, measurements, and go over the whole scope with the client and show exactly what's involved.
Okay. Houston has got a lot of tight spaces, tight spots. How do you get creative with these kind of installs, when the standard installs don't work? And how does that affect, your pricing?
Well, people understand that if it's a tight space, there's the cost involved of trying to navigate through all that. I love that challenge. For me personally, that to me is a challenge. If I can get someone a generator when they've been told no 3 times by somebody else, I go look at it. For instance, we just had a client that has a gated community and they have no front yard, no backyard. So the only option was on the roof,
Wow.
so we had to basically go back to the drawing board and see how we could make it work. We had to get structural engineers involved. We had to get the city permitted, and we had to do a lot of different uh, things to get this to happen. And the only way to get the generator was with a crane. We're talking about 200 feet run from the street to the actual roof. We got it installed. The client's super happy, and he was blown away by how quickly we got it done and how professional it looks.
Did you pick up any other business in that community from that?
He's trying to promote us. There's another guy across the street that was told no because he has older wiring in his home. So we are
Mm.
looking into helping him out as well. So definitely want to get some leads off of that.
And can you see this unit from the street?
No, you can't.
Okay.
It's
All
kind
right.
of hidden behind the home. It's a two-story home, so the unit sits on a one-story level in the living
Hmm.
room, basically. But we had to tie it into the rafters and get
Okay.
structural engineers to sign off on it, and
Yeah.
proper bolts and things like that. So
Perm
clearances, things like that. So
yeah.
all that was up to code, and we got it done right. And the longest it took was just the permit process. That's what took a while to get the engineers to sign off on everything. But once we got it done, we moved on it pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, sure, sure. And I mean, you don't have to tell me the exact price, but how does that affect like the normal price of that same unit on the ground?
We're a few $1,000s higher because of the cost for the crane and
Yeah.
the engineers drawings and things like that. So, which the client understood because he was told no, they couldn't put a generator on his property. So he was thrilled that we could do it. And that's
Yeah.
some of the things we see a lot of that people just don't want to take the extra steps to do it because they feel they won't sign off on a number that's maybe a little bit higher.
Hmm.
But we try to be very, very conscientious of price and not gouge people because they're in a situation right now and we want to be fair with them.
Yeah.
And that's what they like about us is that we are fair and transparent pricing. Here, this is what it is, and there's no going back and forth.
Right.
What we give you is what you're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, that kind of brings us to what makes you guys different. You say you're a true turnkey. So, what does that mean in practice?
Well, when we say turnkey, we mean that the homeowner never has to become the project manager.
Hmm.
That's our job. Uh, we try and take care of every little thing that has to do with the generator. For example, if you tear up the turf, or if you pull up landscaping, or you take out bushes or trees or pavers, whatever that may be and look like. I mean, if you have to modify windows or seal up soffits, we do all that. We've got a crew that can go in, take care of all that, so we do it turnkey. That's what turnkey for us means, is taking care of every
Yeah.
detail so that the homeowner doesn't have to do our job.
Yeah, sure. I totally get that. And, it's hard to um I lost my train of thought. Oh, that kind of makes you guys stand out with other companies and stuff. But how does, what kind of feedback do you get from customers? What do they mostly give you in terms of feedback on the job?
I think if you look at our reviews, we're a new company. We've been around for 2.5 years, and the biggest compliment we get is communication. I think is how we communicate with the client on a regular basis. I'm very good about texting and calling and letting them know, hey, we're going to be at your house doing this today, or
Yeah.
tomorrow we're going to be at this time. We're going to shut your power off. And I think you that there's a lot of patience involved with these installs because when you have your electricians out there doing electrical work and the client says, "Hey, I have a Zoom call. It lasts about an hour and it lasts 4 hours, right? We
Hmm.
can't shut the power off." So we pivot and we do other things so that the client feels like, "Hey, these guys are working and they are very appreciative that we are flexible." So,
Yeah, and just a quick sidebar from my normal questioning here is that, a lot of people think that electricians can install generators, but it seems to me like in the lab what you've explained is kind of like a lot of proof in that it's not necessarily just electricians, and there's so much more to it, in terms of engineering and things of a much higher level in terms of just that kind of knowledge.
sure, absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot, like I said, it's like construction. There's a lot of
Yeah.
trades involved, a lot of people, a lot of moving parts. It's almost like a symphony. You've got to orchestrate it and make sure that everything falls into place, 'cause we have really been blessed with a lot of good people that work with us. And
Yeah.
because, one wrong move and it can throw up the whole operation of the install. So it'll delay things. So we try to overcome that by being proactive and making sure that they're going to show up and get it
Yeah.
done. So yeah. So
Yeah, and I'm sure that's where your expertise comes in with your construction background and being able to put a generator on a roof, I think requires a little bit more than some electrical knowledge.
no, exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you have to anticipate, things breaking down or scheduling
Sure.
conflicts, things like that. But I always have plan B, C, and D always in place, knowing that, hey, so if this crane cannot come out there today, I'm going to have another backup guy that can be there so that everything moves according to plan.
Right. Right. Okay. So, terms of growth, what have you done in the past for marketing? What are you doing now? What's making the difference in your
I
short
think,
time?
we were new to the industry and we used our backgrounds to market by getting involved in the Facebook page or just mail outs or door hangers, things like that. But I
Hmm.
mean, after we got in touch with you guys, Power Source, you guys have taken us to a whole new level. And you know, my advice would anyone would be to get somebody that can market your product for you, be on social media. And I have to give you some kudos, John, because I know a couple of weeks ago we had some reviews that were uh, one-star reviews that weren't ours. They were fake reviews,
Hmm.
and there were like five of them just popped up in within an hour, and you had them removed within the next day, which is huge. I mean, it would have taken us months to even get it off from Google. So you guys play just a pivotal role in our growth, and we appreciate you guys. So I
Oh,
think
absolutely.
money well
Mhm.
spent.
That's great. And I just aside from that, I hope that we can be with you for the long term and grow and scale your business with you
Sure.
for
We
sure.
look forward to it.
And I mean that takes us kind of to Generac's Power Play. I mean, this is just another place where you're getting leads. What makes it so hard to close those leads?
Well, it's not hard to close. Once we get them, we can close them pretty quickly. It's just that they go up to several dealers at times, and it's very hard to compete with some of the dealers in our city.
Hmm.
So, we get the leads, but sometimes it's just a little too late to get to them. So,
Yeah.
but we do get the leads coming in, but they are scattered and they go to several dealers.
And there is a lot of competition in the Houston
That is
area.
correct.
That's for sure. And you're serving everything everywhere inside of that 610 loop, and it's a very big area.
Yes. Well, we,
But
we we service all of Houston, Greater Houston. We go 50, 60 miles out of Houston as well, not just inside the loop. So
hmm
we're in Galveston and Beaumont and
hmm
Friendswood, Sugarland, Pearland.
And are
So that
there are there competitors that you kind of just like, are you stepping on or are you stepping over? I mean, you see them a lot, or is it just like just a lot of different companies that are just popping up all the time? What's that experience in the
Well,
Houston
but we
area?
know a couple of people that have been around for a while. We know them personally. We have a good rapport with them. We
Yeah.
respect them, and we know that their pricing is a little bit lower than ours. But Hey, it's a big world out there. It's whoever the client feels comfortable with. I don't hold it against anybody if they've cut me off by a few $1,000s. I know, but that's just the nature of the business, though. People do business with people they like. That's all what we have found. So if they like
Hmm.
you, you know that you're honest and you're going to do a good job for them, you'll get the job. So.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Okay, and you guys just hired your first dedicated service tech, right? This is a
Yes,
big
we got a
milestone.
van. We bought a van last year, and we've got it fully stocked and ready to go. And we've really been focusing on our service business because we just don't believe in just installing a generator and walking away and having the client trying to find somebody. So we want to be there even after the sale. And
Hmm.
so as long as they have the generator, we want to service it for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And service, maintenance, and long-term vision. Right now you're 90% installs, right? How do you
Correct.
see maintenance shaping your future a little bit?
I really foresee maintenance being 75% of the business and
Yeah.
25% generators
Hmm.
because the maintenance is going to be ongoing. It's annual or semi-annual, and a lot of other clients are calling us now for service on their generators.
Hmm.
So we've been getting steady work coming in. So that's keeping our tech busy.
Yeah, great. I mean, sure. And the maintenance can come with, battery sales, refurbishments, total renos and on the generators themselves too. So there's a lot of business to be managed there on
Well,
an ongoing
absolutely. We
basis.
also guide them on the process because we tell them, hey, look, you need a soft start on your AC or you need a load manager on this piece of
Hmm.
equipment. And, we just make recommendations. So you don't have to buy this, but this is our recommendations. And nine times out of 10, people will go with that recommendation, say, yes, I need a soft start. I know my AC kind of chokes out when it comes on. So let's get a soft start installed, or a Wi-Fi or LT device. I mean, so there's also upselling involved at that point, though.
Yeah, sure, sure. That's the idea. Um, and how do you balance growth with maintaining quality as add more crews and more inventory and more trucks, fans, things like that? How does that, what's your plan of attack for growing?
That's an easy answer, John, because if you have a process in place that's working, you just duplicate that process and you pass it down to your people and then you can just duplicate that process over and over again. But we have worked out a lot of bugs. I mean, we definitely one of the things that I want to share with is if you can find a good big dealer that you can go to and do like a mentorship with them, that really helps. We were blessed to have two people that mentored us in the beginning and showed us a lot of things. They were very open with their processes, so we learned a lot. We sent Shane uh, to um, Wisconsin, and he learned a lot. For 2 weeks he was there. The day he landed, May 16th, is when the derecho hit in Houston.
Oh,
That that really helped us get our processes streamlined.
okay. Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, everything is repeatable, everything is duplicatable, and when you have issues, even issues should be repeatable.
Sure,
A system and a process for everything. Yeah, we're doing a lot of that too. It's the only way to
that's
scale
right. That's
um,
right.
without too much turmoil anyway. Okay, so advice for other generator owners, what would you tell a contractor maybe thinking about entering that generator business?
Well, I would say do your due diligence. Okay, really look at everything that's involved. With it's not just simply just hooking up a generator and getting an electrician, a plumber to install it. There's a lot of other factors that go with it.
Hmm.
Do your due diligence. It's a great business to be in. There's plenty of work out there if you can stick it out. It's very cyclical. It's mainly weather related. So have backup plans for other income as well. Like we have the service in the business as well. And we do get some construction work out of it as well because when we at a home, the client says, "Hey, while you're here, could you replace my turf for me?" It's 10 years old, so we get that work coming in as well. So just stay with it and do your due diligence and try to find some mentors that can, coach you and show you what they do because there are a lot of good dealers out there that are willing to share that with you. So that's my advice is just to get help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We've asked many, many times for help and they give it to us.
Yeah, that's great. One guy that I remember talking with on a podcast. He's actually a good friend of mine, Rich. He's actually an electrical inspector here in New Jersey, and he's also an engineer and a generator specialist. So he's offered his cell phone number on our podcast and had said, call me up if you have any questions
Sure,
about
sure.
anything. He just wants people to install generators the right way for total safety and to make sure that things are on the up and up. He can tell a million stories of, some very terrible generator installations that he's had
Yeah.
to fail inspection on several times. Um, but I think the inspector's a good guy to talk with too.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I can help anybody out there that needs help. Whatever I know, I'd be happy to share with you. Any questions you may have on things, just I'm happy to answer.
And aside from the Generac brand, is there any other brand that you'll install service?
Not just yet. We want to really fine tune this engine to make sure that this is what, because obviously when you start other brands, you got to have parts, inventory, things like that. And we don't
Yeah.
want to get into that. We want to really fine tune what we have and get that in place first and then get to the next level.
So if somebody calls you up and says they got an old Kohler or they got an old Champion or a Briggs or something like that, you pass them off?
We don't pass them off. We give them referrals. We have other
Okay.
dealers that we work with, and we tell them, "Hey, we know this guy. He can help you out. He does
Mhm.
Kohler or Cummins, and we'll give them, and they can connect directly with them and work it out." So.
Okay. One of my other clients was really loving the new next gen. You have anything to say about the Generac next gen?
I haven't actually installed the next gen. I have enough of the old ones still that I'm putting in, but I
I
think the
see.
new shipment coming in are the next gens. I've heard that there's some bugs still being worked out on those,
Hmm.
and I really want to get those bugs worked out before I put my hands on it. So I think I'm excited. It's a great product. It's got a lot of good features to it.
Yeah.
Not having a controller, it's all app based now. So I
Right.
think that's really going to help a lot as well. You can see, and you can really wire it in properly. It'll tell you if you wire it in properly, it'll tell you. So that's
Yeah.
huge.
And is this like an opportunity to go back to customers that have maybe 10-year-old Generacs and maybe ask them if they're interested in a swap? Is that something that you guys do?
We've had a couple. We've had a couple people that at the 12, 15 year mark, and we've done service on it, and we tell them, hey, look, it's a matter of time. This is going to break because it's showing signs,
Hmm.
and we give them options, and they take it and say, okay, when I'm ready, I'll call you. So
Yeah.
that's part of our inspection. When we do our inspection, we check everything out to make sure it's functioning. If it doesn't need something, if it's not broke, we don't fix it. That's what we
Yeah.
tell them.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't actually sure about that. Those new next gens coming in, would we swap them out or not? But I guess if once you're in 10, 12 years that you might need to. Um, so
absolutely.
that's why it's important to stay up on the technology and the new units that are coming in and, kind of how Generac is evolving. And they do that every few years or so with a new unit.
Sure.
Okay. And your company is faith-based. How does that shape how you treat customers and employees? And how does that take a part?
I think for us, faith shows up in how we do business. Really, it's being honest, it's doing the right thing, and treating people like it's our home. Even though it's their product, they're paying for it. But
Yes.
I look at every install as my install. Would I accept this type of install? Would it pass in my home? And if it doesn't pass my inspection, it's not going to pass the homeowner's inspection. So,
Yeah.
and I think just being honest, there are times when we go over on something we didn't anticipate. I don't go back to the client and say, "Oops, sorry, I missed that, but this is what you need to pay." We absorb it because that's what we do. So we make it right, whatever it takes.
Yeah. I totally wholeheartedly believe in that as well. Um, for sure. Is there anything that you think maybe I forgot to mention? Is there anything we can put out here that might help maybe an existing generator dealer or a new up and coming one?
One thing I do want to say, I want to stress is service. I think in this busy world right now, service is lacking. I come from hospitality and I come from the apartment industry where service was everything we did was service driven,
Yeah.
whether it be our occupancy or whether it be, customer satisfaction is all service based. I think any business that you own, you have to really give it your 100%. I think
Right.
you have to treat clients like they're your family because you have to be honest with them. You have to give them the time and speak to them and not rush things. And when they call you, answer the phone. Don't
Mm,
have a third party answer your phone for you, or you may have that, but as long as they can get a hold of you right away, because when there's a storm, I mean, that's when things fall through the cracks as people get so busy, then the clients that have paid good money for it can't reach dealers. So have a plan in place where you can have backup people take calls so that your calls don't get missed. I mean, we all jump in and wear different hats. We take calls, we call clients
yeah.
back. And
Yeah.
I think that's the key. If people know that they're being serviced, they will stick with you. So,
Yeah, answering the phone is very important, and a lot of companies are going to AI for that kind of thing. It's not quite there. The voice AI is not quite there. It's okay for probably booking appointments or maybe answering the call just to leave a message, but maybe not having a discussion over what's wrong with your unit. Um, but answering the phone is very important. So that's good that you do that, and yeah, I think that's all good stuff.
sure.
Well, Michael, thank you very much. This was great. I appreciate learning about you guys and a little more even and
Sure.
talking with you, and hopefully we can do the podcast again and we can have all three of yous here. Um
Absolutely. We love that.
Maybe even try to do it in person.
Yes. Hey, we'll fly out there if we have to.
That sounds
Talk
good.
to some dealers out there as well and make it a trip, a business trip out of it. So yeah, we always want to learn. You never stop learning, John. There's always in any industry, you have to keep getting better and better at what you do. And that's our goal, is to get better and better at what we do. And just
Absolutely. With
yeah,
every business, with every industry, just always learn.
absolutely. Sure.
It's great
Yeah.
advice.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you again for you and your team for all that you guys do for us, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you soon. Okay?
All right, Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Powering Success, future-proofing your generator company. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with John, visit him online at www.generatorseo.com. If you found value in today's content, please share with others and leave us a rating and a review. Until next time, this has been Powering Success.